Hey guys, it's Bina, and in today's video, I want to present to you my universal loot filter for any character in Last Epoch, which is going to be good for 1.0, whether you're going Circle of Fortune or Merchant's Guild, so no matter your faction and no matter your class or mastery. And I also want to present to you my simple damage calculator, which can be used for very quick calculations if you want to have a simple idea of the numbers that you can deal with your skills. Like what node is going to be best? Is this 20% more damage better than this 18% more damage there? If I have 3 points there or 2 points there, so you'll be able to do all of these calculations. Are my critical strike chance capped? Like how much crit do we actually have? And then there's also going to be a link to a more in-depth not loot filter, but more in-depth damage calculator, which is Zakar's damage calculator. If you want to go very deep into the details of Last Epoch's damage calculations. But first of all, there is my master filter here, which you can download here. Bina's master filter. You click here, you either right click and save link as XML, and then you take that file and you put it into your Last Epoch's filter file, or you actually click on the GitHub and then you copy paste this into the game from the clipboard, right? So those are two ways. Everything is here, method 1, method 2. I'm always going to update when this was last updated. And now I want to guide you through what this filter is exactly and how you can benefit from it, and why I actually like having this filter up here. Of course, if you're following one of our actual build guides, there are always loot filters included with all of our leveling guides and endgame guides. So if you only want to focus on one single build, grab those filters. And if you want to have a more universal loot filter and not having to change between multiple different filters for different characters, then feel free to use this one. But this one will require more work on your end to input your selected affixes and your wanted affixes in certain rules. So we are here in game, and this is what the filter looks like. You see Bina's master filter. If I go in the description here, you see you must select the affixes in 7 rules. These rules contained add wanted affixes in the description and the date it was last updated. I will keep updating this filter over time, so you guys will always be up to date. And if you want to make sure that you have the latest version, look here to see what the exact date is, right? I will not be updating this every day, but as I get updates out, I will update this date. So let's start with the bottom. First, loot filters. Rules positioned higher in this list overrule those below them. So anything below, it gets overwritten by what is up on top of them, right? So the first thing we do is we hide all items. We want to start with a blank state, and we want to add items on top of that. So we remove all items from the game, nothing is shown, and then we're going to add rules to actually have these items show up for us. So first I have show leveling all idols. This will show all idols up to level 45. Very good in the leveling process while you still need to cap your resistances. So it's going to show everything. Leveling all silver rings up until level 12. So this is going to recolor silver rings, which gives you movement speed up until level 12. Afterwards, you will stop seeing them, right? Show experimental tier 5. This is going to show you all experimental items, which are some items that you might be able to find inside of, from exiled mages inside of the campaign or in the Monolith of Fate. So this is going to show all the ones that have tier 5 plus affixes on it. Level the campaign. It's only experimental affix, by the way, right? It's only the experimental and not actually any affix on it. And then I have a couple of rules for the campaign. Leveling movement speed up until level 45, right? So any movement speed boots that you'll find will be shown in orange. And then in blue, you have some leveling campaign gear. And here you need to add your wanted damage affixes. So for example, if you're playing a Blade Dancer Shadow Daggers, for example, well, that will scale off of dexterity, right? So you put dexterity. You will scale off of, for example, throwing. So you need to know kind of what you need in terms of stats before you actually start using this filter. You need to go, okay, what build am I doing? What build do I want to do? What am I scaling off of? And what stats and affixes do I want on my gear? You need to know this. If you do not know this, you cannot use this filter, as there will be some blank spots and you will not see the items that you actually want. One good thing, if you're following someone's build guide, for example, and you just grab a planner, you take that planner, you look at all of the stats that are inside of the planner, and you just put them where you see add wanted damage affixes. You add the damage affixes here. On the other rules where it's indicated, you to add wanted affixes. So you would add the wanted affixes there from the build planner that you are following. That is for if you're following a guide, and if you're following a actual guide, feel free to just grab that filter, and that's going to be for the specific one there. So that is the first rule, leveling the campaign gear. It tells you exactly, add wanted damage affixes. Straightforward, right? Then we have early mono idols and early mono gear. I have one rule for the idols. So there are already certain rules already pre-selected for idols, and these are all of the idols that have health or resistances on them. So early on in your gearing process, you will need to use idols to fix your resistances and get up to that 75% cap. So that is why those are already selected. But if you're playing another build, for example, if you're playing a build that needs, you're doing shadow daggers, well, you might want some rogue idols for Fistpan with shadow daggers, right? So you select the affixes that you want, the specific ones you want for your build, and then you start with this template, and then you make it for your own build. So that is it for the early mono idols. You add your wanted idol affixes, and then for the gear, do the same thing, but you add your wanted affixes for your gear. So if you want to play throwing, melee, if you want to play spell, you add spell damage, you add spell crit. Depending on what you need, you add your own stats there. So that is very important to note. All of these are actually capped out and have asterisks beside them. Anything that is campaign will be blue. Anything that is for early mono will be green. It might happen that in the campaign, you will find green items. This just means that those green items are just even better than the regular gear that you would find for the campaign, right? By the way, for the campaign, I actually have only highlighted for like the defenses are already selected in this rule. So this will always show physical, void, and necrotic res on items because those are the 3 types of resistances that I feel you need the most in the story and in the very, very early monos. Same thing goes for these ones here. Necrotic, physical, and void res are always shown because those are the most common one. In the first timeline, this one is very heavy on necrotic damage, and this one is very heavy on void damage. And then physical is all throughout the game. So those are going to be the 3 resistances you need most. And then for the other ones, you can either craft them, you can use gold rings if you need LA res, and for poison res, you can just craft it as well, right? So I feel like this type of filter is going to be very good. I have tried it for leveling 1 Blade Dancer, and the loot that dropped was not too overwhelming, and it was not too little. It just felt good. So make sure you add your wanted affixes here on top of those. High value generic idols. So this is going to be recolored in red. So these idols that are selected here are only going to be generic idols, not class specific, and they are going to be the ones that are the best and most high value and probably the most highest value on the market once the Circle of Fortune and Merchant Guild faction come in. These are going to be health and life idol, health and some physical res, vitality and res, armor and health, anything that is really, really strong and good combination. But these have to have at least the 2 good affixes on them. If they only have 1, they will not show. So you know already when you see something drop in red that these are very, very high value idols. Then what I have here is recolor idols for build specific. So these are going to be only for build specific and having 2 of the correct affixes on the idols. So these are all made. I have all of the actual builds here and more. So these are just generally good idol to pick up no matter what because they have both good rolls on them, both perfect rolls for a certain build, and you might just want to put them off on the market and see if they can sell because those are going to be used in certain specific situation with that build. So I have a lot of them, and then I also have 5 rules which are high value primalist rogues for every single class, right? High value idols that are just generally good on these classes, and they have both 2 good rolls on them, right? The 2 good affixes, both the prefix and the suffix. So this is going to be very, very good for you. Show exalteds up to level 90. This is going to show all exalteds up to level 90, and we're going to see why I hide them afterwards, but I feel like this rule is only here for the leveling process while you're still gearing up. You might find a specific exalted that you haven't thought of, but you actually want to use it. So this is why this rule is here. Recolor the tier 6 exalted I'm looking for and the high value affixes. Here you need to add your affixes, right? The high value affix I put there are the experimental, the class specific, movement speed, cooldown, and hybrid and increased health. Those are the only ones that I feel are super, super high value. All of the other ones are going to be for your own build. Which one do you want to see that are actually going to be tier 6? Keep in mind, we will show all tier 7 later. So you want to add the affixes for your build that you have on your build planner. So this is this rule here. You need to input something in here. Hide weapon types I don't want to see and deselect weapon types you want. All right. So this tells you exactly what to do. So this is going to hide all of these weapon types, right? So you must uncheck. If you want to find wands, you must uncheck wand, confirm, and update the filter, right? confirm. Don't forget to update, okay? So if you don't do this, it's gonna hide every single item in the game. Every single one-handed axe, one-handed mace, scepters, swords, wands, right? So you unselect the item types, the weapon types that you want, and the offhand types that you want to see, okay? So this is very, very important to do. This is also manually done on your own. Show personal item. This is only good during the story. Basically, this is just going to show them. These are the chests that you can open, which have static, kind of like unique white or yellow or like rare items that have specific affixes on them. So don't worry about this one too much. And then recolor the crafting ones that you want, right? Removal or shatter. Add your wanted affixes. So if you need to get some shards to craft on certain items, and like, okay, let's say you want, you have a good pair of movement speed boots, right? They have like all 4 good stats, but your movement speed on it is only tier 4. Well, you need 1 more shard to be able to craft on your boots, but you don't have a shard, for example. So what would you do? You would find other pair of boots. You would use a rune of shattering or a rune of removal. That will give you one of the affix type that you need for the movement speed to craft on your other pair of boots. You put your boots there, you craft on it because you now have a shard, right? So those are the shards that you actually need to accumulate inside of your crafting inventory to be able to craft on items. So these are the shards that you're missing, the ones that you want to find to be able to extract them from the item and put them on another item. So that is what this rule is. Add anyone that you want. The only one I have here right now is Hybrid Health, because that is a super rare one that you will use very, very often on many pieces of gear. But you don't want to clutter the number of drops that you see either. So feel free to put whatever you put here, whatever you want here. I usually put plus level to certain skills I'm looking for, Hybrid Health, maybe movement speed, up to you, okay? Now we have recolor multi-exalted and tier 7 exalted in yellow. Anything that has more than 1 exalted affix on it, so 2, 3, or 4, is going to be recolored in yellow, and anything that is tier 7 is going to be recolored in yellow as well. So with this filter, you don't need, like, as soon as you've input all the stats that you want, right? You put in add wanted damage affixes, you add your idols that you want, you add your affixes that you want here for your gear, and then you have the add wanted affixes for exalteds, and you deselect the weapons that you want, and then you have the crafting, removal, or shatter. As soon as you've done this, everything else is automatic. It's automatically going to update based on your level. You won't be finding the crap sub-level 45 stuff. Once you're over level 90, you won't find these anymore, because over level 90, usually you're basically all exalted by then, and you just need those good exalted drops, especially with the Circle of Fortune coming up and the Merchants Guild. You might just want to buy stuff. You're going to see all the tier 7 and multi-exalteds that you will want to see, that you will want to sell on the bazaar, and then you'll see all of the good idols with the perfect rolls that you actually need. So I feel like this filter is, I'm very happy about this filter. I've used it for leveling 1 Blade Dancer, and it feels awesome. So I can't wait to have your feedback on this. Feel free to get in my Discord, give me feedback. If you think that it's missing something, I am all ears. But overall, it took me 3 days to make this filter. I think I'm super, super happy with it, and I can't wait to see how it actually, what you guys think about it. So that pretty much sums it up for this video, guys. I hope you enjoy these kind of videos. If you do, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.